Hi everyone. So here we have today with us Abhimanyu. So I've met Abhimanyu for like 3 months now, and he is one of the grad students over here at Purdue. And I just thought we'll have a small discussion with him just to understand how the present situation is for international student. Especially in this pandemic time when we have all this corona and there is a lot of uncertainty going on. So, Abhimanyu, yeah, let's start with you. Let us know. Give us a brief description about you. Where are you from? What are you studying, and all that things. So, Abhimanyu, take it over.
Hi everyone, this is Abhimanyu. I'm from Purdue. I'm doing my engineering management over here, and I'm a grad student, as Adarsh mentioned. So, yes, I did meet Adarsh 3 months ago, and we have bonded over then since. I can say that the situation here is a bit tough. A little bit about me is that I did my mechanical engineering from Shri Randeva College of Engineering and Management. It's a college that exists somewhere on the Maharashtra map. Okay, you can Google it. And I did my 2 years of work at Reliance. It's a prestigious work offer, though. I worked there as a maintenance engineer, and after that, I decided that I had to grow more in my career. So I came to Purdue. Voila up. That's our logo.
So, how do you feel the experience over here in US? Like, what, like I know you've been over here for like you have completed one of your semester, right? If I'm correct. So how is that experience? Like, what do you want to say about that?
So the Purdue's engineering management program is quite unique in that sense. Purdue is one of those colleges that allow you to go on your internship just after completing your one semester. Usually, the F1 rules state that you are not allowed to do any internships or CPT or anything before completing 2 semesters on the campus. But Purdue's engineering management is quite flexible in that. In fact, if you look at the official plan of study at the engineering management portal, you will find that the college actually advises you for it that you do a semester, do 3 months of professional practice, that is your CPT, and then you come back and do one more semester and you're done with your degree.
Wow, that's
So,
interesting. I think is this something specifically with Purdue or like any other colleges
so
have that or?
colleges have like 9 months of program, like which is similar to Purdue, but most of the colleges do not offer more than 3 months of support. And it becomes difficult for us to then continue with the expanding your CPT, because the companies are not exactly hiring for 3 months. They want interns who would stay with them for 6 months, 1 year, so that they can assign them to big projects where they can actually work and learn and be a value and asset to the company.
Okay. So yeah, that's I think really good. So that gives us a segue to. So how is this program that what you are presently doing is different from like a co-op or an internship that's been provided by any other, like any other universities? How would you say that? How would you
So
differentiate it?
this we just mentioned that it is having just one semester. I'm just one semester in Purdue, and I've just joined here, right? Apart from that, the conversion rates go really high, because when you are working with the company, you develop a bond over the year, and it becomes very easy for you to get a offer with the company.
Okay.
Also, the role which you are applying to, we have to like give justification to the college, like we submit a report
Hmm.
after every semester, like what we have done, what we are planning to accomplish, how we are going to do it. So that keeps us on track. I think, like, yes, what we are going to do, what's our goals, and how we are aligned with it. So our director, Mr. Eric Van de Woody, is a gem actually. He always keeps in touch with all the students and makes sure that we are perfectly aligned with our goals, and keeps guiding us from time to time.
Oh, that's interesting. So I think you are probably making some amount of money while you are studying, right? Like you are literally
Yes,
okay. That's interesting, man. That's really interesting. So you are technically getting. I would say it's a sort of a scholarship. I would put it in that way, right?
yes. So it's a scholarship where you have also got the technical and the professional work experience. Also, it is a sad thing, but Purdue MEM does not allow us to do TA or RA-ship
Oh,
in Purdue management, but we can apply for a TA or RA outside Purdue MEM. So a lot of my batchmates have the TA and RA opportunities as well. So like that's like double, triple the earnings, you know.
yeah. Any extra dollar is always appreciable, right? Especially when you are studying, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So yeah, let's talk about the present situation, right? Being a graduate student, I believe you just completed one semester and right now you are interning. Would you want to walk through how was that procedure of getting an internship? How can you walk us through how did you face any sort of difficulties or how was that entire experience of landing an internship?
So I can be as descriptive as possible. I'll try to be as descriptive. So I joined Purdue in August 2019, and this career fair, the first career fair was in September, and we had just begun with our classes. We had just been like 5, 10 classes in the program, and it was like the career fair is right there. So quite initially when we started with the college, our professors told us really early that we need to work on our LinkedIn profiles, resumes, and all those things. So we had already done that, and we got our, the so-called resume kit from the professors as well. So we had a professional portfolio, we had our name badges, our professional business cards, and all the things that leave an impact on the company. And apart from that, we have when we went to the talk to companies, we had to showcase why we were doing this, what we were doing, and how it connects, and what we have experienced in our past, and what do we want to do ahead in the future. So this was all of the story, which was pretty much well rehearsed, I am sure, of every student, the so-called elevator pitch of 2 minutes. So we prepared that, and there were classes for that as well. So it was pre-programmed in some ways. In some ways, it was nice. In some ways, it was difficult because not exactly companies are lining up to hire international students due to the H-1B visa fees and all. But we had quite a considerable chunk of companies who are willing to hire us. Also, if you know that you are just interning and not applying for a full-time position, most of the companies will support you for your internship as well. So most of the students don't know that, and so they don't even apply. So we took the advantage of this knowledge from our previous seniors, and we put it to a good use, I can say.
Okay, okay. That sounds really good because starting the first semester itself, you get those guidance, and you land up for an internship. That's really nice. Yeah. Now, yeah, since you have so how's job and everything. Like I believe, just as you previously mentioned, you had a work experience in India also, right? So if I would ask you, like if you want to compare your work experience back in India and the brief experience that you had in US, how would how would you describe that? Or let's just put it like, what are the advantages of working over here than compared to India? I'm just trying to make it easy for you. Or
So Reliance is an awesome company. I cannot compare Reliance and Forcia like apples to apples, but yeah, for sure, the experience is a bit different. Like, fortunately, I had really good managers at both the locations. My managers supported me very well. Uh, there is one thing that I really hate is being micromanaged, and I like to make my decisions. And on both ends, my managers supported me very well on that. Uh, Reliance, it was more of a physical job. I was a maintenance engineer, so I had to be on the field. I was working on the shop floor. Half of the time I was supervising the work, half of the time I was doing the work. There was a different taste to it. Over here, I'm in the corporate field, so I negotiate with the suppliers. I am on the other side of the table now, trying to make the strategies and not implement them, which I was doing back in Reliance.
Okay, okay. So I think it's like a whole cycle now. You have completed the whole cycle, going on the back end and working on the front end also now, right? You have both the experience with you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So just briefly, can you explain like what's your position? I forgot to ask you in the beginning. Like what's your position that you're presently working in, and what's just to give like students a rough idea how the internship or like what's the general description of a job of an intern would look like.
So I am working at Fossia Clean Mobility. It's an automotive company. We design exhaust systems. I'm an intern here for as a commodity buyer. So my role is to make strategies for the company where from whom to buy, what to buy, and how much to buy. So I decide the panel, the suppliers from whom they will be buying, and I help the plants in negotiating with the prices and making deals. My other part of the job is to maintain the cost and supplier risk, cover the supplier risk, and maintain the cash flow in the company. So it's pretty much a big responsibility as an intern. Fortunately, my manager is really good. Most of my friends are happy with the job that they're doing here. The teams are usually very supportive because they know that you're new to the job and they treat you that as if you are new and you are ready to learn. So just show the curiosity and they will support you. Another fun fact is that in my team, there is only one American who is working, and rest we are all from different countries. So it's a cross-cultural team. It makes it really fun.
Okay. Yeah, sounds interesting, man. Sounds interesting. Yeah. So yeah, let's just talk more about the present situation, right? Like it presently, like some of my friends, some of my juniors are actually searching for job who just got recently graduated by this, especially those who are graduating during this fall 2020 and those who have actually graduated during the summer 2020 are really facing this tough time of getting a job or landing a job. So I just want to understand from you, like I know there are like multiple restrictions going around. Would you want to talk more about that? Like, is there any sort of specific restrictions and all that type of things that, as an international student who is probably going to apply for a job, would potentially face? So that whoever is watching this would get a rough idea about what are the potential challenges they're going to face.
So let's understand the economy first over here. So coronavirus has almost made the entire world stagnant. When I say
Yeah.
stagnant, it means that the industries was closed and most of the companies are now already on set of recovery, which is a very good sign. The number of cases continue to rise, and we are already. US is already, and when I say the number of cases and all things, I refer to US only. So we are already in the second wave of coronavirus. We are already at the second peak. So with this, the companies are still continuing to operate. They are trying to maintain the safety guidelines and trying to operate as smoothly as possible. Now, also please do understand that the economy has been really hit. Companies have lost a huge amount of money. And when I say that, it becomes imperative to understand that a lot of people have been laid off, a lot of people have been fired, a lot of people have been furloughed, this being different. So when you consider that, and the companies are now running back 100%, the workload on the current employees is increasing. Now, this is a very important window over here because for some roles they require full time people. So, all those who were graduated already in summer will now have a better chance at October. Now, there is a catch here. When you are on your OPT period, you are not allowed to have more than 90 days of unemployed service. So, if you have not found a professor under which you can continue your research, you are highly likely to be deported back to India
Yeah, I
or to
think that's
other country.
a 90 days period. You have to produce an offer letter of some sort that you have a job.
You cannot,
Uh,
yes, You cannot be unemployed for more than 90 days. This is a catch. If you are able to avoid this loophole, it is actually a very, very important thing that most people forget,
Mm-hmm.
and it leads to them being deported back to their home country.
Okay.
The second rule we need to take care is do not feel like, most of the companies are exactly now lining up, but not all the roles can be filled by full-time people because they really cannot afford them. So
Okay.
as an intern, I am paid like 60% of the salary. I'm saying an estimate of the full-time employee. So it's cheaper to hire me as compared to a full-time employee.
Mm-hmm.
So companies will also be lining up to hire more interns than the full-time students. So
Okay.
it's a very good and very important piece of information over here for the people who are searching for internships. So all those who have completed their spring semester, and summer they did something and they are still here, it's a good news for them because they can really apply to those companies. The third point being the FMCG industries, fast moving consumable goods. Those companies are had their peak and they need more and more people.
Mm-hmm.
Now the thing is, you should not do a full-time opportunity there, because somewhere down the line, maybe in 6 months or 1 year, the situation is going to come into control. And then when that happens, you will be fired for sure. So do not do a full time there. Just continue to do an internship or work as an internship over there.
Okay.
I'm not discouraging you from doing internships. I'm just saying that this is going to be the scenario
Uh-huh.
sooner or later.
Okay. Nice. Yeah. Sure. Yeah, that sounds like a good advice, and I hadn't thought about that. Like probably interns would have a good probability of getting hired in this area of pandemic, right? And that's a good point that you made. Like especially regarding with the pay, right? You don't have to pay as you are hiring as that of a full-time position, right? You just have to pay the minimum wage or the minimum salary, and interns are probably gonna need to work too hard also then compared to that a new full-time person, right? So I think, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I agree with that. So yeah, and apart from that, I heard there were like some recent discussions going on of like for this fall 2020 semester. So are you planning to go back to Purdue for this fall 2020, or how's your situation? Like I know you just completed one semester and then later on you've been working, and I just want to understand, like I heard a new rule that during the fall 2020 you have to do a hybrid course, or you have to go for an in-person class, otherwise you will become out of F1 status. Is that true, or would you want to comment
Yeah.
on that?
So my comment on that one is that this is true what you said. The FN status is now being officially cancelled for all the students who are doing online classes. Technically, it's a sound rule because not exactly who is doing on an online class requires an FN status, and it's a sad news for all the students who have been here waiting for this fall semester to begin so that they can continue to with their F1 status, because none of the students who were there for the summer were required to take any classes in summer for any of the colleges. So the summer semester is automatically having F1 status covered. Now for fall, when this news came, it has taken a lot of students aback. It has really hit the most. Now, Purdue, in this scenario, again, I am praising my college over here because of their valiant efforts. They have announced that we are going to have in person classes, and we are continuing with the offline classes through the fall semester. It's a very bold move in this situation, and I can say that we are ready for that. As far as I am concerned, I am currently on a CPT, so I'm technically not required to take any online classes because my F1 status is protected by the CPT application. I already got my I-20 for August semester, that is fall semester, approved. So I think that I am pretty protected. For all my friends who are already doing online classes, so the thing is that the exams will be held online. Other than that, the entire semester, the classes will be held in person. So students are pretty safe in that scenario. I don't see any of my friends losing their reference status. Also, all those students who are currently doing internships should not worry about it, because all those who are under CPT or OPT will not be affected in any manner.
Okay.
OPT, there is another catch there though.
What
The
is the
government,
catch on there?
yeah, so the US government has decided to scrap off the extension of STEM OPT. That means that it would not, the students of STEM people who are eligible for the 2 year extra OPT period will not get it. Now, this will be a very difficult situation, but let's analyze this on a very practical note. So, for all the students who were already doing or already on OPT, that means they are already, like, they are already on OPTs. They have already got their OPT approved, so they cannot be touched anyway. Now, all those who got graduated in summer and will begin their OPT. So this situation of scrapping the OPT is only valid till 31st December 2020. And the OPT period is not going to end before May of next year. So technically, they are safe. All those who are graduating up after that are automatically insulated using the same theory. So it is just a word of panic that has been spread for no reason. And you just need to think it through when you are analyzing all these things, so that you know you can remain calm and you can think properly.
Okay. So what about those who are graduating in the fall 2021, let's say? What about for them? Let's say like if I am graduating in December 2021, technically I would be getting 1 year of OPT, right? Since the OPT extension has been taken
So the
over.
OPT extension rule has been scrapped only till December 31st, 2020,
Okay.
and it has also not been ratified yet.
Okay, I get it. I
It
get
is
it.
just in the conversations. So if it gets ratified, understanding the situation, see, always we have to analyze like why this has been done. So the background of scrapping this off was to protect the American economy and to give more and more jobs to the American workforce. Now, this is a very thoughtful decision by the US president for the American people, and it is, I think it is justified. People may not, people may disagree because they are losing their job prospects, and even I disagree at some point. But considering the American economy and the welfare of their nation, it is the right decision to do.
Yeah.
A lot of things will change in the November, though, and you know what is there in November.
Yeah, we will definitely come to know what's gonna happen after November elections. Yeah, yeah, I think we'll get a lot of comments down here in regards to the Trump supporters and all that stuff. That's for sure. Yeah,
I,
so
I'm
yeah,
pretty
go ahead.
open about it. Like I do believe that yes, I'm also one of the person who will be getting affected later on in the career. But understanding that we are a part of a nation,
Hmm.
and the nation has to look after its people first, and it has to give its priority over the people. I believe that India would have done the same had India faced this situation. So I understand the views as a nation, and I'm not being personal over here.
Hmm. Yeah, like I just yeah, that's a good way to put it. And let's just, I think we are like ending to of this webinar, or what do you call, like Zoom call. So do you have any suggestions for anyone who is actually trying for, let's put it this way, like do you have any suggestion for any of your fellow students who are looking for an internship? Do you have, would you suggest something for them?
So for all those who are looking for internships, mostly please keep in really good contact with the people who are currently doing internships, because most of the people there already know what the situation the company is in. Like I was able to get a few people placed in my own company because there was a requirement. So you must always keep in touch with all your managers and everything. Like just to know like if you can help your friends out. Secondly, there is a LinkedIn link which is constantly giving us updates on which companies are hiring, so you can always search on that. There are a few applications known as Glassdoor or maybe LinkedIn
Monster, yeah,
as
all
again.
that.
So LinkedIn, if you say that if you keep your search on, like you're available for the job, you will get offers. I did get a few offers during the COVID situation, so I'm pretty sure you will get it through if you make your profile proper. So I think that's more of a gist of it right now, and most of the people are going to go to their colleges for the support. Um, I can. I'm happy to be a part of an institution where they support us so much, um, and I hope that your institution supports you as well.
Yeah, thanks Abhimanyu. Thanks for your time. It was really great to have you over here, and hope this part of the video is helpful for anyone. So that's the main reason why we make these videos, so that like anyone who is actually in need of or who is searching for some information, this video would be a valuable source of information for them for getting a job, getting an internship, or getting some idea about the present situation, OPT, or all other employment related situations. So it's wishing you all having a good career over here in US. And yeah, that's me from my side. Any ending thoughts from you, Abhimanyu?
I would wish you all the best and kudos to you on that one. This is me also signing off.
All right, thank you. Have a good one.